trial 2 for hodl, flip, or dump. And so we're trying again, so we're going to repeat ourselves. And the whole point here is Robin has received 3 different tokens from me. He saw these for the first time like an hour ago. And the criteria for these tokens are under 100 million market cap. They are 3 of the top movers within that range in the last 7 days. And that was it. So the whole goal was to find which tokens with very small market cap are winning in the bear market. And so, you know, Robin, maybe we should redo again. What's this one called? BLZ.
BLZ, yeah.
BLZ, cool.
So I'll share my screen again.
Let's do that, yes. Let's see what we can find about BLZ, because I don't know anything about this. BLZ. Okay.
Okay, you should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
Cool. So BLZ spelt BLUZELLE or BLZ if you're from the other side of the Atlantic. So obviously there's been a spike recently. I should say this process is very much just what I would do. I'm not a cryptocurrency trader. I'm not an expert, and this is not financial advice from either of us. But the whole point is we just want to show you what we would do and discuss these tokens because I think we're curious to find out more about them as well. So obviously CoinMarketCap is a good place to start. You can search any token that's mostly any token that's listed on major exchanges, and you can find out information like the price, $0.1313. Market cap is a good one to look at because you can get an idea of the size of the project and whether or not it's likely to be volatile. Obviously, most cryptocurrencies are volatile anyway, but ones with very small market caps are going to potentially go up and down very quickly. But yeah, if you're thinking about investing in a crypto coin, you're already going to be comfortable with risk probably. So that's not that much of a blocker. You can see the volume in the 24 hours. That's how much has been traded in the last 24 hours. So in this case, $100 million worth of BLZ has been traded in the last 24 hours, which is pretty substantial. Number 28 in the volume charts on CoinMarketCap.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So something's happening, obviously. And today we're going to find out what that is, or we're going to attempt to find out what that is. And so I'm just going to Google it. First step I would do with any cryptocurrency, find the website, find out what it is. In this case, it seems to be a side chain for Cosmos. So it's a very tech focused project. It seems to be a platform for games, tokens, NFTs. We don't know yet what kind of projects are on this chain or on this side chain. But my guess would be they are relatively well funded. Because if we can scroll to the bottom and find their Twitter, which I will have a look at now, we can see they've got 84.8 thousand followers, which is not insubstantial, but of course you can buy Twitter followers, so that's not in itself an indication that this is a honest or a real project. But they've got a lot of engagement, they've got some retweets, they are fairly active. 47 minutes ago they were posting. If I was to see this and a large number of followers and there was very low engagement, that might be a flag or a warning sign that this is a rug or a scam. So it's best to look for as many indicators as possible before investing in a project. Some people swear by checking the smart contracts, and not everybody is a developer, so that can be challenging. But if you go to CoinMarketCap,
interesting. So have you noticed that they are a Cosmos sidechain, but their token is an Ethereum contract?
Yeah, I think that's quite common. I think that a lot of projects will not bother releasing their token on a chain that isn't Ethereum, simply because they just don't get traded as much, if that's the case. I think most traders, coin traders, as far as I know, I'm not an expert. Most coin traders will look for tokens on Ethereum or maybe Polygon in some cases, but from what I've seen, very few projects, even when they're on other chains, will list on their native chain, or maybe they'll list on both. So I've seen some where they have one contract on one and one contract on another.
So that's what would be very interesting. It would be interesting to find out the utility of this token, because if you're building your own sidechain, same as Ethereum has their native token as ETH and Polygon Matic, and those tokens, native tokens, are used to pay for transaction fees. I would understand that as a very good utility, which is the more it's used, the more the price action is going to move up. But if you're building on Cosmos, and again, all of this is without knowing anything about this token or this chain for that purpose, what's really the point on having your own token if it's not used to pay for transaction fees? And then another side point, if you go to CoinMarketCap, you will see that 60% of the trading volume is on Binance. So most of the volume is on a centralized exchange anyways. So I'm wondering what the benefit was of releasing a ERC20 token, since most of the trading volume is on Binance anyways.
Yeah, these are all good questions. And this might be a good point to bring in the white paper, because it looks like they've got a link directly to the white paper and it's not found. So we've got a 404 on the white paper, which is not a great sign, but it's not necessarily a huge red flag. They probably just haven't updated it. I wonder if there's a link to the white paper somewhere on the website. Let's have a look. Tech documentation, BLZ token. Let's see what we've got here. They've got liquidity pools on Binance, Huobi, and Uniswap. Right, so it looks like they've got a ERC20 token and a native token. So my guess would be there's some kind of utility within the native token. Maybe maybe you get benefits from staking it or from trading it within their ecosystem. And then they've got an ERC20 on Ethereum, which they use for, I guess, investing in the project, or then maybe they had a token sale early on to raise funds. What can you do with BLZ tokens? Pay for BlueZell network transactions. Yeah, so here's the utility. It'd be interesting to see how those two tokens are linked, or if there's any kind of link between the Ethereum-based one and the native one. But what we're looking at here, for the purposes of today's hodl, flip, or dump, we are looking at the Ethereum-based token, and it seems like that is the one that's pumping. So it'd be interesting to see why. I'm just looking at Etherscan quickly, because you can look at the contract code very quickly on Etherscan for any ERC20. If the contract code is not on Etherscan, that is a big red flag, because there is absolutely no reason why a project would not publish that publicly. And if they don't, it's either because they've got something to hide, or they don't know that you should publish it publicly, and that's in itself is a bit of a red flag. But I would always check this just in case, because I can't remember the project. Recently there was a project that was pumped by a very big a guy with a massive Twitter following, X following, and it turns out that every time you traded, or you couldn't trade or something, there was something in the contract that was very dodgy, and nobody checked. Everybody bought the token, and it only came out afterwards that actually it was not a standard ERC20, and there was a big security flaw, which I think was intentionally put in there. But like I said, if you're not a developer, that's fine, because there is this wonderful thing called ChatGPT, which you can use to check code. And so you can just Control-A, Control-C, and paste everything into ChatGPT and just say something like, is there anything non-standard in this contract, or are there any security things that you would highlight, or something like that? And often ChatGPT will be able to spot any problems, or send it to your developer friends on Twitter and say, can you look at this for me? Because some people have done that to me, and normally they will do that. In this case, I haven't checked it, but from a quick glance, it looks like a standard ERC20 ownership model with two-phase transfers. Yeah, we won't go into detail of the contract, but let's assume that I have checked this and it is a standard ERC20 token, and there are no massive security flaws. Next question is, I guess, what's happening and why do people suddenly think this is a good project to invest in? Because we can see from the charts, it's gone from 10 cents to peaked at about 15 cents over the last day. And it's been pretty much going up. The trend is up over all of the last week. If we go back even further, obviously there was a big spike when it was launched back in April 2018. I think that is, no, February 2018 it was launched, and there was another spike in May-ish time, end of April. And then it dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So these are pretty much consistent with the bear and bull markets that every token has seen. The difference being that this one's picked up in more recent times. But it's not immediately obvious why. I don't know why this is doing well now of all times.
Okay.
But this seems to be fairly closely pegged to just the general market trends. So not a massively volatile token, it seems. So it could potentially be a relatively safe bet. But yeah, that would be my overall analysis for that one. Do you want to do some talking about this one, or shall I go on to the next one? What do you think?
Yeah, entirely up to you. The one thing, so I'll share my screen super quick.
Okay.
Because I was checking. Cool. So that is TradingView, and something that's interesting is, so this is on the weekly. So this week essentially just started. So what's really interesting here is there any other? Is that this point there, on there, has been tried a couple times. So there, and also here they tried to break through all that, although not very successfully, and then here. So it kind of feels that there is something, as you can see, so around this level, that the token struggles to move up. So it moves on there. So there's a very clear support line over here at the bottom, and then there's this bit, the token action, it did break through in this section there, but it then bounced back down, and then it continued dropping so that was in June 22, and it reached the bottom in January. So for 6 months it was dropping. Then about a month and a half it tried again, but then it dropped, and so for another 6 months it kept dropping. So just a very interesting point to look at, especially if you're going to be considering whether to hodl, flip, or dump. That overall for the past, so what's that, May 22, and we're in August 23, so over a year, that this token's just simply moving sideways and struggling to break through this line, which would be around 13 cents, and that more often than, you know, trying to break through, is bounced down to a bottom which is around 4 cents. But that is my own little thing, again, without actually having checked anything else apart from just this chart and no other indicators. But that's
It'd be interesting to see
whether
it'd be interesting to see whether that if it did break through that, that might be an indicator that it actually is worth investing in, because it's now seeing new highs since, like, it hasn't seen since the beginning pretty much. If it was able to break through that holding line, and that could be an indicator that it's entered a new phase.
Could be, actually. Very, very valid point. Trying to see if there's anything, probably here, without, you know, I'm not a technical analyst, of course, but just a little that I know. So if we were to get that, let's say that we're lucky and then we decide to buy at 13 cents, then probably would take a bit of time to actually reach just a 72% gain in the mid to long term. So something quite interesting as well to bear in mind, because, you know, the all-time high was essentially when it launched, and it hasn't really gotten there. And this was December 21. So when, you know, we were still close to the, yeah, we were still close to the, let me see if I can just open another tab. We can look, if we do this, the total market cap without ETH and Bitcoin, and December 21 was the peak, as you can see there. So that's November. December was a double around there, but it was already towards the start of the bear market, which was dropping. So as you can see there, the date is December 21, and these guys launched at the start of December 21. So maybe we could argue they didn't start dropping because it was a bad timing, and there's potential to grow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if do you remember the blockchain analysis tool that we looked at about a week ago? I think it was, maybe last week, that showed the number of contracts deployed on a certain blockchain. Was it?
Yep, I've got it here. Developer commits.
That's the one. Yes.
Oh. It's in here.
Maybe they've changed the URL.
There. Could be. Dashboards. Huh. Yeah, they've changed things quite a bit. Okay, so we've got here applications, contracts.
I wonder if BLZ or anything like that is listed, or if not BLZ, maybe Cosmos would be on there.
Yeah, not sure. I mean, they've changed the dashboard, so contract deployments, and if we go by chain, no, yeah, they've changed it quite a bit. Can we do here Cosmos? Okay, so we do 1 year. It's been dropping, but it's, you know, fairly high up since it launched. So on Cosmos chain, we're still not on the time low. Weekly active developers. So if we look at December, where's December 21? That's December 21. So it's still higher than back then. But I'm unable to see BLZ within the top chains here. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, no, this is interesting. I guess Cosmos Core is the main chain, and then sub ecosystems would include BLZ. I don't know whether they would be listed on that list. I guess not. It might be that it's just not tracked. Yeah, it's strange.
Okay. So then we're going to really make a connection between the price action and the number of deployments on the chain.
Well, I'm just thinking that in this case, the investment really is in a blockchain, in the blockchain technology, and a good indicator of whether the technology is successful is how many commits or how much activity there is from developers on that chain. I'm trying to find something
fair enough
to give us that indication on Dune Analytics, because sometimes they'll have interesting things like that. But yeah, it's not really very helpful, unfortunately. Just try Cosmos.
Just a heads up, I think since we've got a free Zoom, we are limited by 40 minutes.
Okay, how long have we got left?
Good question.
Maybe we should move it on to the next one, and then we can always come back if we have any more thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Let's
keep it moving. Let me share my screen again, and I'll just do the same thing again for the next one. Okay. So next up, we have decentralized social. DESO is the token indicator.
Yep.
Let's see if it's on CoinMarketCap. Decentralized social. $8.93. And it has risen over the past day. Let's have a look at 7 days. Pretty much no overall movements, and then static for actually quite a long time. Not a lot of price movement, and it is significantly decreased from its $192 high back in June 2021. So this one has lost a lot of its value. Still a $79 million market cap, and still $2 million trading over the last 24 hours. But things are not looking great for this token. But let's see what we can find out about it. See if there's any hidden gems that we can uncover. Let's see if the white paper works on this one. I'd be interested to see how many of these actually have white papers. Decentralized social is empowering an internet that's creator-led, user-owned, and opens to millions of developers around the world to build off one another. Build off one another. Slightly dodgy grammar, but we'll let that slide. Moving from DeFi to DeSo. Decentralized social projects are interesting because it's like one of the first things that people think about when they think about decentralized blockchains and the ability to move away from centralized organizations. Facebook or Instagram or even Snapchat's decentralized would be great, right? Because you get to own all your content and you don't have to watch ads and all of the good stuff. But there have been many projects that have tried this, and so far none of them have really taken off that I'm aware of. Maybe some have, but not that I've seen. Not on a big scale, anyway. So it's great to present the problem, but in my experience, the solution is harder to come by, and it's the sort of thing that you need huge scale for. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. If nobody's on this platform, it's not going to. It's a chicken egg problem, I guess. So I'm not going to read through all this text because we are limited on time, but fundamentally, they've got a plan. That's a good thing, and they've obviously written a lot of material about their project. If I was really going into thinking about opening a massive position on this token, I would probably read that. But for now, they've got a GitHub as well. So if you're more of the developer-focused mindset like me, you could go through their code, see what they've actually built, and you could look at things like commits to their projects. GitHub will show you activity on a code base, so it can tell you how many developers they've got, usually what kind of activity they're doing, what they're working on, and they've got all of their code bases listed here in public open source by the looks of it. So that could be interesting to go through as well. But in terms of just pure price, I would struggle to see this as a good investment unless you had another indicator, or maybe you really believed in the technology on the platform. I wonder if we can actually find the platform, Decentralized Social. Where's the website? Here we go. DESO.com. It's time to reimagine the world of social. DESO is the first layer 1 blockchain built from the ground up to decentralize social media and scale storage-heavy apps to billions of users. It's a bold claim. Oh wow! Look at these investors. They've got
quite good.
some money behind them. So that's impressive to see.
I wonder.
Of course, they could be lying.
Yeah. I wonder if they've got anything to do with, is it Friendtech? This new, yeah, Friend.tech. It's a new social media platform
yes.
that is built on Base, and it's been spoken about quite a bit on Twitter or X.
Yeah,
And,
loads of people are comparing it
wondering
to like
if it's got anything
dystopian
to do
futures, like Black Mirror, where you have a social score and everybody ranks you when you don't take the bins out on the right day.
Yeah.
So it's cheap. Compared to the cost of storing
quite
200
long.
characters, less than a tweet. Yeah, this website is actually fairly well made, which is actually a good sign. And it looks like they were backed by Coinbase, so maybe they have got some kind of connection with Base and all of that. Although, yeah, if they've been going for a while, when was it? 2021. Okay, so just a couple of years. I mean, it's actually hard to get a lot of information from here. And I'm not actually going to sign up. Actually, it doesn't look like you can sign up. Is it actually open for business? Sign up.
Yeah, it says sign up, top right corner. There's a button there.
So this looks like an attempt to...
But it seems it's more of an infrastructure, isn't it? More than an actual social media, or...
Yeah, I guess it's like an attempt to build a social graph on a blockchain, and have kind of some sort of social currency associated with that. I would guess they looks like the DESO coin is the currency used on the exchange. So a big indicator for this would be what is the actual usage, similar to how we were talking about with a blockchain technology. How many developers are engaged with that blockchain? What's the activity actually? What's being built on that blockchain? With a social platform, how many users does it have? What's their engagement like? And these are difficult questions to answer, of course, but maybe there's some kind of June analytics dashboard that will tell us something about this. But yeah, should we move on to the last one so we don't use up all of our time?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Do you want to just briefly touch on DESO, or is there anything that you want to add?
Not really. I think you've done a brilliant analysis, to be honest.
Okay,
So then we have one left.
Yeah, the last one is Epic Cash. I don't know if that's associated with Epic Games at all. I would guess not. Not with a...
I hadn't made that
$8 million
connection, actually. Good point.
Yeah, I would expect it to be much bigger if it was associated with Epic Games. So let's assume they're not, and that they are not too worried about a lawsuit coming their way. It's been around since
Can you
2020.
copyright the word epic?
I'm willing to bet that they've tried, and I don't know. I would be very nervous about launching a token called Epic, but maybe that's unjustifiably a concern. I don't know. But yeah, they've been around for a while, and they really peaked in 2021 bull market. That was they went up to $6.56, and right now we're at 52 cents. So yeah, it's seen a big decrease, but it's really picked up in the last week or so. So let's see if we can find out any reason why, and also a little bit if there's any information on what kind of project this is or what they're hoping to achieve. Yeah, 7-day change is about 60% up, and $20,000 24-hour volume, which is not a lot. So this is like a high risk token, I guess, if you put potentially some big gains like we saw with that massive the massive spike in 2021, but also very risky. Epic Cash digital library summary. Here we go. Epic Cash, the unique implementation of Mimblewimble forked from Grin. Okay. It is unique for several reasons, and this write-up will cover a few. For a deeper dive, go to here. It's a proof of work model configured to assure limitations on centralized mining. Such model. Okay. Few red flags in terms of being developed and released as we speak. Maybe I'm just too skeptical, but it seems like the fact that they wrote this 2 years ago and it's not been updated, maybe these things haven't been developed. I don't know. The real question for me is, why did it suddenly go up from 29 cents to 53 cents in the space of a week? Are there things people know that we don't, or is this just pure speculation?
Yeah, I'm trying to find, because I'm not totally sure. I do not fully understand what Epic Cash is.
Yeah, they've had 2 years to develop this idea, and I don't know whether they've really communicated. Maybe they have developed it, but just not communicated that, or maybe it's just an idea that never really came to fruition. They've got a YouTube account. Let's see if we can find out. Uncle V has got 3.9 thousand subscribers.
Nice.
I mean, that's not a lot of subscribers. I would say for this one, for me, unless I have some inside knowledge, or I was able to get a really strong indicator that there was about to be a big run on this coin, I would steer pretty far from this one.
Very interesting. Okay. See. Yeah, of course. Series of downloads here. I'm not entirely sure if I would like to download this onto my computer and get it running. How active is the social media?
Good question. Let's have a look.
3,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah, for a project that's been around for 2 years, 3,000 followers is pretty bad, to be honest. I would say that whatever technology they're building, if it's really as much of a deal as they say it is, you'd expect more than 3,000 people to be following them now.
I mean, the last tweet was in March 2022.
Yeah.
That was the last piece of content.
So again, like, the question is, why is it suddenly being traded? Why are people buying this coin? You'd expect it to be a complete ghost town, but it's obviously not. There's been not an insignificant amount. Maybe it's bots. Maybe it's not even people. But $18,000 volume in the last 24 hours. That's not nothing.
So, excellent. So you've got your research, and now it comes to a decision. So hold, flip, or dump. What's your decision there?
Yeah, so my decision is based on the little research that we've done. I would say, obviously, the dump is the one that I want to get rid of as soon as possible. If I had this in my wallet right now, I would probably get rid of it very quickly. And that one is Epic Cash, or Epic because it's a very tech-focused project by the looks of it, and built on promises. And in the last couple of years, or the last 12 months, there's not been a huge amount of activity on the socials. The project founders don't seem to be updating very much. There's not much engagement, and whatever promises they've said, they've not seemed to deliver on. So I would get rid of that personally. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a reason why it's gone up in the last couple of days. So there could be maybe the founders have actually delivered. Who knows? But from what we can see, it looks like a dead coin, or one that's not worth investing in. And then the next one, the flip coin, one that I would want to invest in the short term and then flip once it had reached a certain level. For me, that would be the decentralized social coin, DESO, because it seems to have some good backing. It seems to be backed by quite a few Silicon Valley VCs, but I think it's a very challenging problem to solve. I'm not convinced that they are the right people to solve it. I've not seen a huge amount of traction, which I think you need to like promote a social platform like that. And they started, as we saw, they started in 2021, and it's been pretty much downhill consistently since then. So not great signs for something that needs a huge amount of traction, a huge amount of following, and like a network effect. So I would say, although it's been doing well over the past week or so, it's not a long-term investment for me. I would try and flip this and try and buy in now, ride that wave of kind of the renewed interest in social tokens that seems to be happening at the moment, and get out before everybody else. That would be my aim. And then finally, my holds token would be BLZ, because that one seems to follow the market quite closely, seems to be consistently traded, relatively high market cap. And I think that they seem to have their head screwed on in terms of technology. I would have to go into more detail on the technology side of things, but the promises that they are selling seem to be more achievable. They seem to have the team that's capable of delivering that, and the price movement in the last week or so is also very good. So for me, I would say hold BLZ, flip DESO, and dump Epic Cash as soon as you can.
As soon as you can.
Right now.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Funny enough, I actually agree with, I would, do the same in this case. Maybe BLZ, I would wait a bit to see if that support or that resistance line that I showed earlier is going to be broken, and if not, wait for it to drop and then maybe grab a few tokens there. But yeah, a quick note is that this selection and this decision is not financial advice, guys. Do your own research. It's just a fun thing to do, of just challenging one another, sharing 3 tokens, and just happens to be that we both agreed.
Right. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think that's good.
So there we go. So I think that was much better. We'll share more next week. 3 more tokens for hold, flip, or dump. So stay tuned.
Nice.